教咗60啦，但我電腦嗌得好犀利，哇！真係唔講唔知，原來一個揀30㗎，哇！咁大家睇 speed，咁難怪 speed fiction 大家，但係睇得好辛苦，唔好意思啊咁多位，應該唔好似我自己得㗎啦。呢個阿 Zoe 嘅 subconscious 會好靚㗎啦個畫質，係啦，咁而家翻60，哇靚好多。雖然我唔知 CPU 捱得幾耐，上到嚟之後睇翻落，哇跟住睇落邊先啦。哇，我安心喎。
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Time and the box.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Walters.
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
哇！真係好靚喎個牆紙，哇！好多我間屋都係咁就好啦，但只可以貼咯，唔識畫。
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Oh.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
我仲冇望有嚟過先，我感覺我房其他應該都真係上咗門。係咯，應該鎖住晒。
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait. As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
呢間房 basically 係個廁所，但係點解會寫住係 Gregory 嘅？Gregory 係住喺廁所啊。OK，大家遲啲睇翻，哇好靚，哇好型啊！呢套係美國，呢個係香港。
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
自然不尋嘅方法。
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
所以 Barbara 係一個演員，即係一個英律劇演員。OK， 敗到呢個想問 Barbara 眼鏡，玩啲㗎啦開始，但係佢唔見咗，我就算啦。唉，啊好想走啊，好開心啊！啊 Barbara 翻房啊！
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Oh. Odin 生咗 Eddie， 跟住佢係同 Sam 結咗婚，唔係同 Sven 結咗婚 ，Great Grandfather 啊嘛。我唔得，好亂啊！
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
我沙，但佢哋呢個地方離本土應該很遠吧
Mom must have locked the 3rd floor stairs on the night we left.
係咯，應該只係一堆鎖咗嘅門，我哋入去啦。入咗，sorry。
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
嚟邊個啊？啊！哇㗎！呢扎係兄弟姊妹。
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Wow.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. My Halloween candy was all gone. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
What the heck?
I kept eating and eating. I ate a lot of things that night.
假㗎嘛？吓？
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark. I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good. Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. was big, but I moved real quiet. I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
It came upon a midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels descending near to touch their hearts of gold. We saw the earth with men from heaven so precious came. The world is song to hear the angels sing. Still through the golden skies they come with peaceful wings unfurled, and
Belly with a rusty razor, his belly with a rusty razor, his belly with a rusty razor.
就好似 Jack Black 有。
it came upon a midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels descending near to touch.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer. all of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have. I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Like literally，定係個精神仲喺度，佢係佢條觸數。
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
原來係咁。
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
係咯，所以 moment 真係叫做 Edie 嘅 Ollie。咁呢一集真係，咁呢5個都係細路。啊，唔係 ，sorry，Edie 同 Sven 啊嘛，Ollie 係佢老豆。OK。哇係 ，Edie 好中意，兩樣追兩樣食喎。我食啦，沙雪醬。哇，有好多喎，即係都有喎 ，Murphy，哇 ，Murphy，好隨意呢個形容方式。Bob，Bob the snake，OK。哦，做咩同啲？叫啲咩？
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Edie 係知佢一做，Edie 一做知佢會死，咁樣睇法。哦，呢度係講佢屋企吧？呢次睇上去。哦，佢係 uncle 邊個啊？我唔記得咗啦。佢間房，真係佢自己油嘅喎，好勁啊 ！Barbara Pelton 係啊 ，Walter 呢個係 Walter 嚟嘅。Dawn Syntax 2000.
Her room was like a museum.
Oh, yeah.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune. And misfortune.
哦，原來係挪威啊，唔係美國啊 ，sorry。
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg, and their newborn son, Johann.
OK，
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
OK， 所以佢直接好似噏咁樣成棟樓大到咗。
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
所以係挪威去咗未嘅，哇！但係好遠喎。
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
所以呢個 Orcas Island， 然後 Edie 係咩？就 Sven 同埋 Molly 第一個女。OK。
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Mysteries of Death and Thereafter.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
所以佢係起緊一嚿嘢，然後所以係當我落成嘅時候 ，Sven 就死咗啦，就係我喺旁邊見到嘅嗰條路。OK。
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long time. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Oh, 所以跟住係 great grandma，K 就係佢同 Sam，唔係 K 就頭先結咗婚，即生咗佢阿媽同埋佢阿爸嘅。
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
So Kevin， 真係4歲定3歲？我冇睇錯啊！1958至1961，3年嘅啫喎。嚇？
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
呢間哦，呢間就以前曬菲林嗰啲係菲林水，熱曬上嗰啲銀火唔濕。點解佢又嚟過嘅？哇！真係坐我街。呢個分法好似 Wednesday 同阿
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him.
真係小朋友嚟嘅啫。
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies. Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
我感覺我好似 miss 咗啊 Sam 一啲嘢，可唔可以翻去啊？
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
係咩？
Sam, Calvin, dinner's ready.
Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
哇！佢將我最大嘅恐懼腳軟化咗啊！
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Oh my god！ 真係唔好使。好睇埋 Barbara 先，我諗睇埋 Barbara 我就差唔多要完啦。
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
佢方便我之後再買翻嚟㗎嘛。快啦！哦，唔好意思咁我哋出翻去。咁有個櫃俾住自己，應該 OK。好參嚟嘅講句就係，但係如果擺咁大塊蠟牌喺度，會嚇親咯。Pictures，OK。呢時你穿咗兩本喎。Safe，Stars。呢個係佢翻工嗰啲嘢。哇 ！OK， 呢個中意唱片啊，睇戲。哇！好核突，打字機。咦！我好似睇過呢本嘢嘅選段。佢介紹嘅時候，但係完全冇嘢可以咁搞笑，好啦，係啦。
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
What?
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
咦 Michael Myers 嘅經典音樂，哇，好正啊！嗰個，我做錯晒。
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
OK，突然間變咗做 Michael Myers 場景，好殺得覺得仲係。咩叫打餐？
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
You.
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well,
唔好意思啊，你
I'm
真係
not
我
scared.
屌出聲。
I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Hey,嗰邊。真係啱，冇再過，唔係有版權嘅咩呢首歌？ 點解我咁緊張咁嘅成件事
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And who he was, he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
明明我跳落去出嚟。
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
感覺呢一家人都叫實地。結論 OK， 出門啦要攞埋條鎖匙就撇啦。收翻先，收翻先。 講話，我唔記得自己做咩。
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
咁所以下一步就係攞鎖匙，然後去 basement。但 basement 唔係大家間房嚟。哈哈！我竟然記得我嗰個係邊個牌咧？OK， 好，好，玩到呢度先啦。哇，係一個好精彩嘅故事。但係我覺得詳細咁發生咩事都係冇等我玩晒所有人哋故事先。但係so far我見過我都係覺得呢家人應該係精神病啲嚟嘅。OK，咁先啦。